it. We'll let a couple people get in here. Hello. Happy second day of Black Maternal Health Week, everybody. It is so good to be able to go live to celebrate this week. I'm so excited. It's definitely always a highlight, being a doula, being able to be a part of such a significant week like Black Maternal Health Week is always important. I want to say thank you to Tracie. If you know me, you know I'm a diehard Tracie fan, a diehard fan of the National Black Doulas Association. My name is Brandie Bishop. I am the owner of Your Tribe Family Services. I have been a doula for quite some time. It's been about 10.5 years now. Clearly, I love the work. It has gotten its hold on me and not let me go. And so I am excited to be able to share with you guys today. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just excited. So one of my passions is postpartum. I will be honest with you, when I first started as a young or newer doula, I was very much a person who wanted to be a part of the action, and I thought the action was births. And so I spent quite a lot of time in the birth world, really just focusing on births. And so now that I've been around and I understand, it's definitely for my particular clientele, what some of their needs are, I've been able to see that the postpartum period is one that we overlook quite often. And definitely at the peak of COVID, I found myself just really interested in making sure that birthing people were having really great postpartum periods. If you think about COVID, I always tell people it's kind of like birthers were like the unsung heroes of COVID. Not a lot of people think about what people who were pregnant or postpartum went through during that, during the COVID period. But a lot of people who it was their first baby, they didn't get to have like baby showers or go out and do fun things with their friends and, really be able to be celebrated as they were bringing life into the world. And then during the postpartum period, if you think about it, a lot of our families and friends, we weren't allowed to really congregate. And so a lot of our birthers were left at home kind of feeling isolated. They're at home, they're with their little one. And there was a lot of isolation with that. And so that is one of the things that really got me super interested in the postpartum period, and making sure that people are able to have a great postpartum period. And so we're going to spend just a little bit of time today talking about kind of how I prepare my families for postpartum, how you can prepare your friends, your families, yourself for postpartum. And if you have any questions, if you have any input, this is a conversation, please feel free, jump on in the chat. Let us know what your experience has been. Let us know, if you're a doula or a birth worker, some of your tips and tricks as well. And so before we get into that, I'm just going to give a slight introduction to myself and what I do, and then we'll jump right into some postpartum stuff. And so, like I said, my name is Brandie. I am the owner of Your Rebirth Tribe. So Your Rebirth Tribe, we actually co-own between me and Amani Byers, one of the dopest doulas here in Atlanta. And me and her have a tribe of about 7 ladies who work with us on our team, and they take care of births, postpartum, sleep training, overnight care, placenta encapsulation. We have nannies, and we have a housekeeping team on staff as well. And so we're really looking forward to being able to continue to serve the greater Atlanta area by really making, the birth experience really all encompassing, making sure that we're reaching people and we're able to help them, be able to expand their tribes, but really having a tribal mindset where we're really wrapping around the care that we give them. I'm also the owner of Your Tribe Family Services, and that is my baby, my first baby. And with Your Tribe, I still see clients there, not as many as I used to, but I do still have birth clients and postpartum clients. I'm also a certified National Black Doulas Association trainer, and so I get to train for both birth and postpartum. Absolutely love it. I have a birth training coming up this month, and then I also have some postpartum trainings coming up, I believe, in June. And so, love it. Been a part of the National Black Doulas Association since inception. I am all about, what Tracie has done as far as growing this organization and really bringing Black doulas, one, to the forefront, but also bringing us together. When I first started off, it was really hard to find other Black and brown doulas. I could be in rooms full of people. It might be the only Black doula there. And that was always really discouraging. And so now to be able to see so many Black and brown faces and for us to be working together to change the narrative, I'm super excited. I love what the National Black Doula Association is doing and how Tracie has brought this organization together. And so those are pretty much all of the things I do. I train, I mentor, I love business. Business basics for doulas is one of the things that I find to be really important. So I train, I mentor, I do births, and I'm a part of this world full time. Like I said, it has its hold on me, and I'm just kind of sticking around for the ride. And so now we'll get into some postpartum tips and tricks, right? So when it comes to postpartum, I have a Your Tribe postpartum guide. Inside of this guide, it has a lot of tips and tricks for our families. And we start off with going over some of the things that we are forgetting about in our postpartum period. When I talk to moms about postpartum, oftentimes the thought process is after the baby is born, we're really out of the woods. We can kind of operate, without any worry or concern. And the unfortunate part is that's just not true. In your postpartum period, you are still susceptible to a lot of physical changes, mental health changes. And so it's important that we're still keeping an eye on our body. We're still keeping an eye on the way that we feel about things, as we do have a lot of hormone changes in that postpartum period. And so one of my first tips, right? This is a pro tip that over time I've kind of developed and really hammer in to my birthers. Like, you have to do this. And I call them just body scans, right? And so I think that it's important for all of us to kind of check in with ourselves, but especially in that postpartum season. And I tell them to just go from their head all the way down to their toes and check in with the various parts of your body so you can see, okay, how am I feeling today? Did I eat enough? Did I drink enough? Have I had a headache today? Did I have any blurred vision? Did I have any shortness of breath? Did I have any tingling sensations in my fingers and my toes? How's my bleeding today? If it's day 4, am I bleeding less than I was at day 1? Things like that, just so you're able to really fully allow your body to tell you how it's feeling. And one of the reasons I consider this to be most important is because in that immediate postpartum period, so much attention is being given to our new little one, which is important. I do not negate that. I think snuggles with little babies can cure a lot of things. But I think that oftentimes if we're spending a lot of time with our little ones, we're not focusing on our physical health, right? And so when we forget to focus on our physical health, we're not checking in with ourselves as much. We might allow these things to be overlooked, right? And so maybe you've had a headache all day and you just haven't stopped to be like, oh, wow, my head is really hurting, because you've been changing diapers and breastfeeding or pumping. And so making sure that you check in with your body is super important in order for you to be able to adequately say, okay, am I taking care of myself in this postpartum period? Things as simple as drinking water or eating. I mean, a lot of people in the postpartum period, especially my birthers who are doing either breast or chest feeding, oftentimes I hear, well, I'm not able to produce the milk that I want to for my baby. And anytime that we want to produce something, I ask what's being consumed, right? So if you're wanting to produce a lot of milk, or you want to produce the milk that's adequate for baby to be able to eat, what are you consuming in order to make sure that can happen? If you haven't drunk any water all day, if you haven't eaten anything all day, it's going to be really hard for your body to produce from nothing. Have you gotten any rest? You know, all of these things are super important for your body to say, oh, okay, we have what we need to create the milk that our baby needs, right? And so this is why checking in on your body, checking in with yourself from a mental health standpoint, from a physical health standpoint, is super important in that postpartum period. You can't overlook it. And one of the things that I challenge my partners to do, now, if you're a birth worker or aspiring to be a birth worker, just keep this in mind. That's definitely an area where your partner can show up. I always tell my partners, hey, we need to be doing scans, for mom each day. So just check in with her. Say, hey, how are you doing? How are things going? Did you do your full body scan today? Is there anything that we need to, call the doctor about, or anything that we need to follow up on, right? And so I think that overall, when it comes to making sure that you are able to check in on your mental health, check in on your physical health, these are things that is a shared. It should be equal. Your partner should be helping with that. And as a birther, you should be doing those things as well. And so that's the first, and biggest tip. If I can offer any tip to postpartum families, that's one of the biggest ones, because Black and brown women are very susceptible to have issues physically in that postpartum period if we're not checking in with ourselves, right? Another one of my favorite tips, and this is one that I share often with just friends, families, and my clientele. And it's kind of funny, but I am very much a stickler for it. I tell people, and you can tell them that your doula said, but I tell people all the time, don't have nobody come to this house in that first 2-month period after you have had your little one that is not here to either bring you something or to do something at this house that's going to be helpful, not to the baby, but to you, right? I am huge on the fact that we have to take better care of the parents. And one of the reasons that I say that is because the fact is, and I say this all the time to my clients, if I have a happy, healthy set of parents, I know that my baby is going to be happy and healthy. If baby is happy and healthy, that doesn't always mean that the parents are happy and healthy. That could mean that parents are sleep deprived, upset, haven't been eating much. But if the parents are happy and healthy, typically, in any case that I've been a part of, that means that our baby is then being well taken care of. If mom has slept well, if dad has slept well, if we are making sure they have plenty of food, if we're doing maybe a meal train and making sure meals are getting to them, if we're coming over and helping with the dishes or helping with laundry, those kind of things that meet very intentional needs that parents might have, when those things are being cared for and parents are able to actually rest during that period and recover and heal during that immediate postpartum period, I have seen that work wonders and truly change the trajectory of people's postpartum experience. And so babies are important. Don't get me wrong. I know that bringing a life into this world is one of the most earth-changing things that you can do as a person. But being taken care of well in that postpartum season is super important. You want to make sure that you are being very intentional to do the things, right? And so as the support team for people who are in their postpartum period, or if you're in your postpartum period, please make sure people know, don't just come by here to hold the baby. Don't just come by here because you want to see what we up to. If you come by here, you need to come by here with something in your hand, whether it's a meal, whether it's some things from a grocery list or a list of things that we needed to get from the store, but we weren't able to get there. Or you're coming over, you're holding the baby, but then you're helping fold laundry, or you're helping to take the trash out. Anything that's going to be of assistance to our families, we want to be making sure that we're doing, right? And so that's just tip number 2. So just another thing to keep in mind, our physical health, as well as meeting tangible needs for our family. And then inside of our postpartum guide, another page that we have is just full of different things that you need to heal in your postpartum season. I'm working on a fun video of one of the tips that I often give my moms, but I think in general, making sure that you have the tangible things, right? So one of the offerings that I have for my families that I really try to gear this at our parents that is not the birther and say, hey, this is a list of things that are going to be really great for that postpartum season, for the healing. And so why don't you, because these might not be things that our birthing person wants to put on their gift registry for like their baby shower, but these are things that are super personal. So I always say, why don't you send this to their group of friends or to their aunts and mom and whoever are the special and significant people in their lives, and let them purchase these items that are on this list. And when they purchase the item, if it's from Amazon or they purchase it from Walmart, just let them know to send a special little thoughtful note with that, right? And so, say for example, off of Amazon, we order some tux pads for a mom, right? And we say, okay, we're going to send these tux pads, and then on the note, we put that as a gift, and on that note, we give her an example of a hard time that we had as a parent and how you know that she'll be able to overcome or things like that. And so just making sure that we tap in and we're able to, one, meet the physical need of, hey, you need these things to heal, but also that emotional need, right? So many people while you're pregnant will say, hey, we want to be helpful, or hey, what if you need anything, tell us and we'll get it, or things like that. And oftentimes as families, both the birthing person and our non-birthing parent, we find that they're not taking advantage of that, right? If somebody tells you, hey, if you need something, let me know, I'm going to let them know. And so as the parents, you can let them know, hey, this is a list of items that are going to be needed for postpartum healing. Send that to whoever your best friend is. Hey, Diz, how are you? Send that to whoever the best friend is, and tell them to disseminate that list through the other friend groups, and send that list to, aunties and mom and them, and everybody come together as a tribe and send these items for healing to our birthing person. And with those items, make sure we send a special little note of love. So we're making sure that physical health and healing is taking place, as well as emotional health and healing is taking place. I think that a lot of families that I've had do this in the past, it's been really beautiful to see like a grandmother and a mother and aunties share stories about late nights that they had or hard times that they had, and talking about things that they went through in their postpartum period, and how they're so excited to see this particular birthing person travail those things and be able to be a wonderful parent. And I think that things like that, very intentional ways for us to love on our postpartum families, is something that in general as birth workers, as family and friends, and then maybe as birthers ourselves, that we need to be aware of and that we should really tap into, because it's important. And it's also a lot of fun. I think that friends and family members, when they say, hey, let us know if you need something, they truly mean it, but we don't always know how to give them tangible things to do, especially if we're being honest as Black and brown women, because we are very much like, oh, I'm going to take care of it. Don't worry about it. I got it, But in reality, we need to allow for people, if they want to help us, if you feel safe and you feel like this help is coming from a genuine place, definitely allow them to help, allow them to tap in and be a part of your tribe, so they are able to make sure that you are okay and taken care of well in that postpartum season. And so those are just kind of my top 3 tips, if you will. So we'll do a quick recap for anybody who's just joining us. My name is Brandie, and we're just going over some postpartum tips and tricks for family. Hello. We're just going over some tips and tricks. So whether you are a birther, whether you are a birth professional, or you are a friend or family member of somebody who will be birthing soon, all of these tips and tricks are good for you. You can use them. And so our first thing that we went over is these full body scans, just kind of highlighting the fact that in our postpartum season, oftentimes we forget about ourselves physically and emotionally. And so each day I try to get my birthing people to do it either first thing in the morning and right before they go to sleep at night, or at each meal. So times where they can typically sit down and think about, okay, do I have a headache? Did I have any blurred vision today? How's my bleeding? Am I eating enough? Am I drinking enough? All of those kind of things, right? doing these full body scans, because in our postpartum season, we are not out of the woods. There are still things physically and mentally that are happening that we need to make sure that we're being very aware of, and tapping in with ourselves. Like, how am I doing? Yes, I'm taking really great care of this baby. Yes, I'm making sure that baby eats and is changed, but how am I doing physically and mentally? So that's tip number 1. We always want to get our partners kind of helping us out with that as well. Tip number 2, nobody comes to our house in the postpartum season who is not there to bring us something or to help out with something. And so when people come over, when you are postpartum or when you're supporting postpartum families, I always tell my families, hey, blame it on the doula. Tell them your doula said, do not come to this house if you are not helping with something, or if you are not here to bring me something, right? And so when that happens, we want to make sure that our friends, our families know tangible things that they can bring, or we are doing things like maybe a meal train or even a sign-up list for different chores around the house. And so that gives a very tangible way for people to show up for you and make sure things make sure they're there to help you, right? So that's number 2. So number 3. What did I say number 3 was, y'all? Number 3 is, so we made sure that we did our full body scans. We made sure that we are getting our families involved and helping with tangible items. Number 3 is we have inside of our postpartum guide, we have a list of items. And so making sure that we have the items that we need for our physical healing in our postpartum season, as well as for our emotional healing. And that list of tangible items, on our list, we have things like stool softener. Okay, so many moms are like, Brandon, didn't nobody tell me you need stool softener in your postpartum? Like, yes, you do. So we have stool softener on it. We have tux pads. We have pads. Overnight diapers can be helpful. And so we have a whole list of items for our postpartum people. And I always encourage their partners, hey, send this list out to their friends, to their family, and allow them to purchase these items. And along with the item, send a handwritten note or send a note via Amazon that just shares with them how either excited or proud they are of this person, and maybe a story about, a hard time that they might have had as a parent and how they overcame it. These can be great for those long nights, those sleepless nights, or those times where we're just feeling a little bit, not adequate as a parent. Being able to look at, not only this healing product for you physically that was given to you, but also looking at the products and seeing that they also took the time to share a lovely note with you can be super helpful as well. And so, those are our top 3 tips. And if you have any questions, any comments, any concern, anything like that, definitely drop it in the chat. I'll stay on for a little bit longer. I think we had a couple of people mention some things, so I'm going to scroll back so I can see. We are dealing with past trauma of what came with having people step in or deal with the guilt of needing help. Yeah, I think that the guilt of needing help, that's a really good point. A lot of postpartum people in general, I think needing help or asking for help is not necessarily that's something that comes supernaturally to Black and brown moms or Black and brown birthers. And when that happens, I feel like that is an opportunity for us to show up and be vulnerable to our families, to our friends. Now, like I said before, this is only if you feel safe, if you feel like this offer to help is genuine, being able to say, okay, this is great. But when you do have people that genuinely want to help you, needing help is not a bad thing. And in your postpartum season, you will need help. And so you want to definitely identify who are your people, who are the people that you trust to show up for you and to love on you and care for you while you're in that particular season. So thank you so much for sharing that. Next one, are you doing the virtual class the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd? Yes, that is me. I have a virtual birth training for the NBDA, and it is scheduled the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. There is still time to sign up. There's no more options for payment plans, but you can sign up. I have, I believe, 2 or 3 more trainings this year as well. So you can either look on the NBDA's website, you can look on my website. They're listed on both. And for anybody who's just joining, as I kind of close out, unless we get any more questions or comments. Oh, of course you are. My soul knew I needed to be poured into by you. I'll be in the training. Yay! That is so exciting. I'm so glad. Definitely connect with me. So Your Tribe _Family Service is my Instagram handle. And so connect with me. We can, chat even before the training. But I'm excited. I always love connecting with birth workers, whether it's in training or just in general. I just have a love for this industry and for the people that feel the call to birth work, because it's definitely a call. And so if you have any questions, guys, any concerns, it doesn't have to just be about postpartum. Of course, that's kind of what our talk has been about today. But if you have questions or concerns about anything when it pertains to birth, definitely drop it in. I'll give the little spiel about me one more time, and then if I don't have any questions, I will kind of let you guys go. It has been such a pleasure. I love a good old NBDA takeover. I have not done one of these in a while, and I forgot how much fun they are, being able to really interact with, the followers for the NBDA. So thank you guys so much. I know I'm not Tracie or one of the other people who have been doing lives with you all this week, but I do thank you for your time. And, hopefully we learned something. If you want more information about postpartum care, or if you would like for me to send you our postpartum, Your Tribe postpartum guide, go ahead over to Your Tribe _Family Services. Just send me a quick DM and I'll make sure that we get that sent over to you ASAP. So that is always up for grabs. It's totally free and we'll send it to you. You can use it as a birth worker, as a birther, or just as birth adjacent if somebody that you know is pregnant. And so definitely let me know if you guys are interested in that. Like I said, just send me a quick DM and we'll get that sent over. And so as I wrap up, unless we get any questions, my name is Brandie. This has been amazing. I am the owner of Your Tribe Family Services, where I do train for the National Black Doulas Association. I do birth and postpartum, and I do have a training coming up April 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Somebody's already joining, so if you guys are wanting to join too, again, you can either go to the NBDA's website or you can go to my website. And then I also co-own an agency here in Metro Atlanta, and me and Amani Byers, one of the best doulas that I know. We have about 8 other doulas that work with us on our team. They are so incredible. Most of them are NBDA trained as well. And so that is definitely a big plus for us. We try to make sure that all of our doulas are able to be trained from a very cultural competent lens. And so we love the NBDA, of course, super biased. But we also love being able to have our doulas trained with the NBDA. Last but not least, I also do mentorship for people who are in the birthwork industry and are interested in either growing or expanding their business. And so that's me. That's kind of what I do. That's kind of what I'm about. And I have truly enjoyed my time doing this live. Postpartum is important. And so I hope that if you did not catch the live, that you will catch the replay. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. My handle for Instagram is Your Tribe _Family Services. Thank you guys so much.